Hello everyone, today we're going to be doing episode 2 of our Commander Cyrius reaction video to his video on how to make construction fun. Now, I will also give you guys a bit of an update. We won't be doing episode 3 on this series, mostly due to the fact that I don't think very many of you are going to be watching episode 2, and I surely know that less of you will be watching episode 3. So, yep, this is going to be the last episode in this two-parter series. In any case, I do hope you enjoy, and yeah, see you around. Alright, the first claim. Removal of the AI module and all AI for construction turrets. Say who you are.
Alright, Dankmemes or XD. I'm a VS main.
Alright, and what do you like to do?
Mostly just construction or, well, just fucking around with anybody. I mean, I certainly don't have a problem with it. I mean, it had a bit of more challenge to defending the base, but it wouldn't really, it wouldn't really take out something game-changing. So I'm alright with that. I agree with Cyrius on that.
Okay, so my view on that is that that's absolutely stupid because how else are you supposed to defend your base? You're supposed to do what? Like, expect all your friends just to hang around your base for you while you go off and do other things?
And there might be the aspect that you don't have friends online
Hey
at the
man,
moment.
that can happen at any moment in any time.
Second claim. Removal of the Pain Spire.
Definitely. They shouldn't exist.
All
I've
right.
died too many times to that, and it really, well, I mean, it deters people from going to bases, yeah, but it really can kill a base. You want to fight sometimes.
Absolutely wrong. I mean, if you can't get past a pain spire, I don't know what you're doing wrong, but you need to work on it. I mean, there's usually at least one or two items, like a pillbox or even a tower, just standing at the base of the tower on the opposite side of the base where you can avoid the effects of that pain spire.
More or less. Though if they place it strategically, a paint spire could theoretically cover a whole tower. Or at least enough of it that you can't utilize the tower against the base.
Yes, but that would take a lot of work figuring out exactly where that would go. And I don't know anybody who would spend that much time.
Third claim. Make all the walls from the defense tab and all the structures on the structure tab invulnerable except to ants mining lasers. And they don't decay either. Also, vehicle gates are to be exempt from the invulnerability, but not from the decay effect. Finally, make vehicle gates hackable.
Well, for the first part, everything under defense tab and structures, I don't really agree with that. I mean, sure, I could see why series would really say this, but it really doesn't make sense because, well, I can only imagine the trolls that would happen all around the map, all the walls just blocking off parts of it, and I really don't want to see that happening. Even if with mining lasers, yeah, that's not workable. I mean, that's what I think. Now the gates, well, I mean, the second part was about the gates not being vulnerable, but not being able to decay. Yeah, I agree with that. And no, I don't think vehicle gates being hackable would be that great of an idea. I mean, it ruined some base fights pretty quickly.
Okay, as far as making the walls and stuff like that indestructible, I don't really agree because that is something that if you're going to allow a person, a base builder, to deploy that, then what is the point of having a developer base? Because that's the way developer bases work. where the wall is impenetrable. No matter how many times you fire at it, you're not damaging it.
So you're saying that this is something that should be a thing because the developer base wall is currently impenetrable, where the player base wall is quite not.
I, again, am just a fan of having an equal set of rules for equal types of things. So if a developer base wall is indestructible, and then a player can also build a wall that's indestructible that doesn't go away, then what's going to happen? You're going to have all these walls all over the place, and how are you going to get around anywhere?
And no one's going to spawn an ant just to mine up wall after wall after wall.
Exactly.
Especially since it only takes like 15 seconds to replace said wall.
See, that, again, I just ask for equal physics or gameplay across all types of things.
Yep. And I guess with the vehicle gates, you'd basically state they shouldn't be hackable because developer base vehicle gates are not hackable, right?
Exactly. And again, that all comes down to an equal playing field.
Well, I guess there's that one drawbridge on Amarish, but we don't talk about it.
Yeah, one out of like every other single thing in the game. Yeah, that really is an outlier right there.
Fourth claim. Make cordium silos hackable and invulnerable.
This one I'm pretty mixed about. I mean, the silos being hackable, I mean, that'd be pretty interesting. But if they were invulnerable, well, what's to stop people from just putting down so many silos that, well, it ruins the map. No space for actual base builders. You could just see a bunch of silos that I don't know that are just sitting there with 50k cordium and nothing around them. I mean, so I'm pretty mixed about it.
Alright. Yeah, that's already been a problem with silos being left and right. We don't need to make that problem worse.
Yeah, and worse. I mean, there's another issue I just realized about that. If
Oh?
an infiltrator were just to find an empty a silo with 50k in it, they could just hack it and make a base out of that in 10 minutes.
Yep, and then there's the fact that they could walk into an enemy base if they're not detected immediately, hack that silo, and then steal someone's hours of work right there.
Gone in a few minutes.
I can only imagine the anger.
And rage quits, yeah.
Okay, but if said silo is hacked, does that mean that you take over control of every single thing that that person has already put down?
I don't know. He's not too specific on that one. It's leaving a lot in the air.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, I mean, like, why would you want it to be able to have somebody to come in and hack a base that somebody else has spent like an hour building up, getting all the cordium, laying down the structures, doing all that work, just to have one guy come in and hack one thing on his base and take it over?
Or the other scenario is to just take the silo, causing the defenders to have to destroy it and plant a new one down. But because they don't have enough cordium, they won't be able to support their fully built base, effectively killing an hour's worth of work anyways. Fifth claim. Remove the permanent one-way shield from the shield module and make it so it's activatable would put up a one-way shield for 20 seconds with a 1-minute cooldown.
I mean, this one I'm not really too sure how to feel about. Because if we're going lore wise, well, it doesn't really make sense. I mean, we could just lore wise all the spawns that appear on the map with each base, mean, they don't have that issue, so why should the construction bases? And that activation time and duration. I mean, if they were to add this to the game, I mean, probably increase it a bit. I don't know, probably 40, 50 seconds, maybe in a minute. But I'd say no.
All right. Currently, shield modules work in the sense that yes, they add a permanent one-way shield to all structures and walls, and they have an activatable that, once activated, will make all walls and structures invulnerable for 30 seconds with a 1-minute cooldown. This helps with shelling issues. His idea would completely remove that.
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure then, because then I'm a bit mixed on that. I mean, sure, it really does help. Would help against Zergs. I don't know, 20 MBTs just coming towards your base.
There's one more thing. Yes, you have a shield, and yes, you have a wall for cover, but they do not protect against splash damage.
Wait, they don't?
They don't. Explosives will still kill you.
Huh. Well, that answers a few questions then. I always had that bit of a problem, but I never realized that was it.
Yes, if you're up against a wall with shields, pull out your explosive weapons and you'll still hurt the people on the inside. You won't do direct damage, you'll do splash damage, so it will take a lot more rounds from your side and guessing where they are, but you can actually kill people or take out Spitfires and other equipment.
It's horrible. That actually explains a couple of things. Why most of the bases I actually try and build just get demolished so quickly whenever a Zerg comes by. I just thought that they just shelled it so hard that it disappeared quickly. I didn't realize that they also did splash damage to the other fucking terminals and all that behind the walls.
If they're within range of the splash damage, they will.
Yeah, I always put my things like right pretty close to the walls, so enough that it will probably damage them.
How does that make you feel?
Huh. I don't know, probably just stick to making bases on Indar by Howling Pass.
Changes the game up quite a bit when you know that information, doesn't it?
It really does, because like this is like that's in the game right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that changes everything for me. Why? Why does this exist? Why?
Because the developers never coded in that the walls and whatnot actually stop splash damage like the spawn room does.
Okay, again, I really don't agree with that because, again, that really leaves a base really vulnerable. I mean, if you're only one person building a base, then how are you supposed to defend it if you can't have a shield up? If it goes down all the time, then you're constantly going to have to be there to monitor things.
I mean, there's already a way to make your walls and structures invulnerable for 30 seconds with the shield module.
Yeah.
And that's not overpowered because you're running back and forth between two shield mods and standing at each of them for about 10 seconds to activate them.
Yeah, see, I guess if you lay down two, I only ever lay down one.
That's still 10 seconds out of a minute. Or 10 seconds out of your 30. I mean, that's a large chunk of time to be just standing there.
Yes, but then that could also bring back to eliminating the alarm module, which he wants to do. So, why not?
He never mentioned to get rid of the alarm module.
I thought that was the one he said he wanted
wanted
to get rid of.
of the reinforcement module, which
Oh,
actually
yeah,
has no
yeah.
purpose.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. My bad.
It's alright. I have everything written down for a reason.
Look at you, Mr. Organized.
Is that all you have for number 5?
Well, yeah, because again, I misunderstood the actual.
Okay, that's fine. Moving on. 6th claim. Adding more structures and capturable goals that hold rewards into construction.
Oh, I'm actually gonna agree with that. Because at the moment, the only way to the only fun thing about construction building, besides building the base itself and playing it out, is that you get certs out of it. It's not much, but it's something. It'd be pretty nice to get a bit more certs out of that, or maybe even some ISO for it. I don't know. Probably 10 ISO for 20,000 XP. I mean, that's a bit much, but it's an idea. Kind of like that. Yeah, so I think I agree with Cyrius in that one.
See, this I don't agree with, but one point that I have thought of that actually would lend to what he is saying is remaking the way that spawn tubes work.
Oh?
Okay, so imagine this. So you have an SCU room on a tech plant, right? And the tech plant, if the SCU is destroyed, you cannot spawn directly into that base. You have to rely on Sundays and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you rework the way the spawn tube works this way, so if you build a base out in the middle of nowhere, your spawn tube is active no matter what, and you can spawn on it just like you normally would. But if you build on an area that has an SCU room, just say an SCU room as an example, by itself, your spawn tube is contingent on that SCU being active.
Interesting concept.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, the spawn tube is just, yeah, it's an integral part.
I mean, adding objectives to the whole construction thing does sound good on paper. I just have questions on the specifics. And of course, Commander Cyrus doesn't go into detail on any of this, which kind of irks me a little bit, but I understand he's got a lot of ground to cover. And he doesn't want to do a 20-minute video for every single idea. His viewers would not be happy with him on that. 7th claim. Commander Cyrus doesn't know what to do with the tactical tab as he doesn't think they play a part in base fights.
I mean, I think he's wrong on that because I'm not sure about any of the other things, but with the flail, I mostly just make some pretty nice bases and actually defend them pretty nicely, even by myself. You know, the one I mentioned on between Howling Pass and NS Mats. I mostly just need a silo, a wall, and a flail, and I could just sit there defending it.
Well, tactical. Okay, so let's go over what is in tactical. And I will leave that to you because you are the professional.
So we have the router Spire, the Pain Spire, the Flail, the Glaive, and the Orbital Strike uplink. We've already talked about the Pain Spire.
Yeah.
We'll get to the router Spire in a short bit. What he's referring to in this instance is the Flail, the Glaive, and the Orbital Strike uplink, which is just artillery.
And my view is that all three of them, and again, this all comes back to something I've said twice already in this interview.
I'm sorry.
Going back to the equal, the equal effects for equal items. Like, come on, it's not that hard.
Consistency.
If an OS,
Sorry.
If an OS can fire into a player-made base without penalty, why can't a flail and why can't a glaive? And if you don't want the flail and the glaive to fire in, then reduce the OS so that it cannot either.
And do you think they play a part in base fights at all?
Yeah, because both the flail and the orbital, I'm not actually sure about the glaive because I haven't tried to screw with it as much.
The glaive.
But
sorry.
the limitations on the firing range from the base it is located on.
The flail cannot shoot within 100 meters of itself, and the orbital strike cannot shoot within 200 meters of itself.
Exactly. So, why is that?
Don't know. Though, the orbital strike uplink, when destroyed, basically explodes with the force of a mini orbital strike.
That is true. Yeah. That's why everybody warns people don't stand near the OS. We're about to blow it up.
Actually, if I recall right, one of our members posted a video on their YouTube channel where they dropped out of a Mosquito onto a NC armor column, put down a OSU, then threw down a few tank mines, and then blew it all up with half the armor column. That was actually flippin' brilliant. I'll put that down in the description. 8th claim. Remove router spires and put the router pad onto something else.
He mentioned putting this one on under the Sunder, right? Where you can just access it from the Sunday.
He never
Like
mentioned where to put it. He just said it shouldn't be part of construction, at least in the video.
Huh. I'm not sure where I heard about that then, but...
I've been the one who's been advocating to put it on a Sunderwear.
Were you sure? Because I heard that in the video.
Then someone else had the same idea.
Huh. Oh well. Now, removing router spires overall, I mean, I don't know really. I mean, sure, for the defenders, when I don't know enemy platoons or squads have a router set up, it's hella annoying. But it actually makes things a bit more tactical sometimes. I mean, for the attackers as well. I'm kind of mixed on that.
I think this was brought up because the router Spire is the one item that promotes players to use construction the least. Because they'll set up a base and the only time they'll touch said base is to come grab a router pad.
I can see that. Yeah. But, man, like I said, I'm a bit mixed on this.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I'm just mixed about that.
Okay.
Yes, but what?
Your main concern here is if the router spire is removed from construction, where should it go? And there's no clarification and no solid plan. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you would, if there was a solid plan that seemed fairly reasonable, you might actually be all for it or something like that, right?
I am always willing to compromise, and I'm always willing to listen to people's opinions, but please give me a valid reason why you believe that the change you present to me is the right thing. If you can do that, I will agree with it. But also, one real quick thing, and I don't know if you want to do this, but again, this comes back to equalization, and I've already told you this. if you want to make the one-way shields go away, then are you going to make them go away on a spawn tube?
Yes, I actually have footage on the first episode of me killing a few people inside of a spawn tube.
Yes, and he claims that the one-way shield that is always up is overpowered. So if it's overpowered for a structure, then why is it not overpowered for a spawn tube?
Yeah, I could see that argument.
See, and that could be even a way to change how the router system works, is to only allow routers to pull you back to your base. So it's an exposed item that can be destroyed, but if it's up, you can still go back to your base.